Bill Maher could not believe what he heard after Democrat voter Woody Allen told him something very shocking about Donald Trump. Folks, I think you're going to like this. You know, Woody Allen is quite obviously a person who votes for Democrats. He supports them. That much is clear, but what he said is probably going to surprise you. Pleasantly, unpleasantly, I don't know. We're going to get right into it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But first, do me a big favor, like our video, and also share it around. That way we can keep bringing you all this great, hard-hitting content. As always, Patriots, I'm your host, Darian, and this is Resist the Mainstream.
I'm one of the few people who can say he directed Trump. I directed Trump in a movie.
No. Celebrity?
Yes, in Celebrity. And he was, he was a pleasure to work with and a very good actor. He was very polite. And hit his mark and did everything correctly and had a real flair for show business.
If you think you were canceled before,
I could direct him now. If he would let me, if he would let me direct him now that he's president, I think I could do wonders. But he was very easy to work with
he's different in person, and when you say that, people who are just purely emotional get very upset, even though it's just the truth. We're just saying the truth.
I am a Democrat. I voted for Kamala Harris, and I take issue with him, on 95% of the things, maybe 99%, but. As an actor, he was very good. He was very convincing and very, he has a charismatic quality as an actor.
Of course, none of this is surprising. Trump is charismatic as an actor and also is just in person when he talks to people. Very warm, inviting, funny, easy to talk to. We all know this. With all that being said, I don't think Woody Allen would have said this a few years ago. Hear me out. You notice how easy it is to support Trump now? It's so much more popular. You have people like The Rock. That's a great example. Dwayne Johnson. That weasel. I mean, he was saying way back when, I vote for Biden, Kamala, all this stuff. You got to support them. It's so important. Then come around 2024, suddenly he wasn't endorsing anybody after he got all the blowback and was saying, Trump is kind of cool and blah, blah, blah. He started paying lip service to praising Trump. And I can't help but notice that as these celebrities and billionaires and people, Silicon Valley tech guys, things like that, started cozying up to Trump and being more friendly with him, suddenly it was okay to support him. It's a lot cooler now than it was before. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know. That's not the point. But it is just to say that it is a little suspicious that so many people are suddenly so comfortable with openly supporting Trump.
And I'm surprised he wanted to go into politics. Politics is nothing but headaches and critical decisions and agony. And this was a guy I used to see at the Knicks games, and he liked to play golf, and he liked to judge beauty contests, and he liked to do things that were enjoyable and relaxing. And why anyone would want to suddenly have to deal with the issues of politics is beyond me. But apparently he doesn't mind.
But you don't think that going into politics is the ultimate acting job? I mean, that's the whole point about him being so different off stage. They got mad at me for saying this, is that it's an acting job, and they all do it to a degree. He just took it to with everything with him, to the nth degree. But it is the ultimate acting job.
But that doesn't bother me. They all have to put on a certain patina for the public and all that. But I disagree with many of, I would say almost all, not all, but almost all of his politics, of his policies. But in terms, I can only judge, what I know from directing him in film, and he was, and he was pleasant to work with, and very professional, very polite to everyone, and very, But as I say, I would like to direct him now that he's president, and have him let me make the decisions.
Well,
but that's not going to happen.
I'll make a call.
None of this is surprising. Trump is widely known as being such a friendly and generous guy. I've heard from some people that he'll tip a valet $100, just like that, and still treat them really well, and as if they are somebody, I don't want to say that are on his level, but because that implies a class thing, but basically as if they're an equal to him, in a way that many rich and elite people won't treat service people. And that's highly respectable. It's also so refreshing to see a person who is clearly not right-wing in the slightest to not have Trump derangement syndrome as they express a disagreement in politics. Woody Allen quite clearly doesn't agree with Trump at all. And after all, if you were voting for Kamala Harris in 2024, you're probably never going to vote Republican. Why he votes like that, I don't know. It's a little bit weird, but whatever. I can take and respect the civil disagreement. I think that's a beautiful thing, and it is so lost in our country, frankly, on both the left and the right. But obviously, the left is quite a bit worse than the right in that regard. We all know that. Now, I found it ironic earlier that Bill Maher said that people who see Trump only in the media and the headlines get so infuriated. After all, Maher was one of those people himself. Maybe he realizes how silly that was and he's improving, but I don't know. The guy still seems to be huffing on the Trump derangement syndrome from time to time. But I don't want to rag on the guy too much. To Maher's credit, he does sometimes admit he's wrong and that he's changed his opinion when the info changes, even if he's a little bit late on it. Here's a great example of that right now.
I remember along with probably most people, was saying at the beginning, oh, you know, by the 4th of July, somebody had to think how the country was, the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me, but that didn't happen. Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that, not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth is, I don't know what his strategy is. But look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I got to own it, that these tariffs were going to sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. So, you know, how do we deal with that fact? Because that's the fact.
Okay, kudos to Maher for that. But I do have to say, I got to disagree with one thing. The economy is terrible. All right, I'm not going to necessarily blame Trump or the tariffs for that. I think Joe Biden, there are quite a bit of fingers we can point at him. But what are you talking about? Rent's at an all-time high. Inflation is super high. Even if it's down a bit at the current rate, whatever, it's still way up overall. Housing is incredibly expensive. There are houses that I saw selling for $200,000 just 6 years ago in Arizona, to give you an example, that are now worth $600,000 or more. I mean, what the hell? It's not like our wages have gone up 3 times as much. Shoot. So, it's a really bad situation, especially for the young. It's awful, but you know, Bill Maher is kind of rich, elite, he's out of touch. It's not surprising. Let's not forget, this is the same guy who in 2019 was calling Dennis Prager crazy because he said that, because he basically pointed out that UC Berkeley was putting tampons in the men's restroom. He's like, well, how crazy of you to suggest that the left thinks men aren't women and women aren't men. And now Bill Maher made that one of his main focuses later on about how terrible the Democrats are, that because of their gender ideology, the same one that he pretended didn't exist just a few years back. So, you know, maybe just like he caught up on that, he'll catch up on how bad the economy is. I don't know. With all that being said, thank you for tuning in, folks. We really appreciate it. As always, make sure you comment below. Let us know your thoughts about the video, what kind of stuff you want to see in the future. And if you have not already, hit that subscribe button down below, and we will see you again soon. God bless you, Patriots.